Alright, so I'm a Dutch guy who was born in the Netherlands in 1985, not too far from the capital city Amsterdam, and I grew up there until I left in the mid 90s. So I've been abroad for roughly 30 years now and never returned. And I've been asked a lot, why don't you go back to the Netherlands? It's your country, you are a citizen, Dutch is your mother tongue, why don't you go back? What's the problem with the Netherlands? So there are multiple reasons why I don't go back to the Netherlands, such as bad weather, no mountains, a high cost of living, too high compared to the wages, which aren't that high in the Netherlands. It's not the US or Switzerland. It's slightly higher than France, no more. And a very, high taxation. But what this guy is talking about in this video is a reason why, even though I wanted to go back to the Netherlands, I probably couldn't. Listen to this.
There's a shortage of 390,000 houses in the Netherlands. This is absolutely crazy, and it's caused prices to skyrocket, and a lot of people are unable to buy or rent a house for themselves. The Netherlands is a very nice country, and there's loads of videos on the internet talking about how great it is. Not literally, because it's actually pretty small. And right now there's a housing crisis causing crippling depression, panic attacks, and an overwhelming sense of existential dread with students, starters, young families, and anyone who's in need of a house. We also have bitterballs, and they're pretty good, so yeah.
Nah, they aren't. They are more like, prison food. Overrated. If you have lived in France or in Italy, no. Dutch food can't compete.
Example of how crazy things are, if you are in the Netherlands and your salary is under a certain amount, you're eligible for social housing. And
44,000 a year is not that low compared to a lot of countries. But you're still, able to get social housing. Wow.
Social housing basically means there's a limit to how high your rent can be. This is in order to protect people with a lower income and to make sure everyone has a place to live.
Sounds good.
Sounds amazing. Yeah. But here's the thing. Say you want to live right here underneath Amsterdam in a lovely place called Amstelveen. There is a waiting list of 9.
I was born there, just there. On the left hand side.
19 years before it's your turn to move into a house. In that time, you could literally start a family, raise a kid, and when he or she turns 18, you can kick them out of the house, which you don't have.
So it's basically useless. The law exists, but it doesn't change much.
I'm going to show you a graph of the average price for a small family home. In 1996, you paid on average 104,743 euros for a small family home. Now over the years that's gone up. And nowadays for that same small family home, you pay an average of 452,278 euros.
I think by a small house you means a terraced house. They call it a ruitjeshuis in Dutch, a terraced house like in the UK. For 452,000 euros in southern France, you can have a very big house, and with nature nearby, fresh air, no noise, no traffic jams, and so on. Enough for a big family. A swimming pool.
And it's not just properties that are for sale that went up in price. The housing crisis also pushed up rental prices. And especially in bigger cities like Amsterdam, Rotterdam and Utrecht, things like overbidding on your rental lease or paying the first couple months in advance in cash have become normalized. Because
that's where the best jobs are in this area. Randstad.
People desperately need a place to live. So you're probably wondering, why is the Netherlands in this situation? From what I found out, there's multiple things that together form the perfect storm. And these are the most important ones. An increasing population, the economic crisis of 2008, bad government policy, surprise, surprise, and finally rules and procedures.
And you forgot greed as well. Greed, the Dutch greed.
Let's quickly go over them one by one. The Dutch population is growing. We've reached a point where there's almost 18 million people living in this tiny country. Especially in the last 7 to 8 years, the housing shortage has really increased. And it's not a coincidence, because that's exactly when the Dutch economy started growing again. And a booming economy also attracts a lot of people.
The Dutch economy is quite good, guys. It's a dynamic country. It's pretty easy to find a job, even though you don't speak Dutch. You can always rely on English there. Almost everybody speaks English there. And yeah, it's overall, if you want to build a career, you want to work, it's overall a good place to be, better than France, Spain, or Italy. I'm not talking about the quality of life. I'm talking about doing business and being a professional.
You can see right here that since 2014, the growth in population is for the most part because of migrants. That includes refugees, students, and people moving to the Netherlands for work, like expats. And of course, all of these people need a place to live. In 2008, there was a global economic crisis.
The worst day on Wall Street since the crash of 1987.
The Dow traders are standing there watching in amazement. I don't blame them.
So what happened was that during the financial crisis, construction almost completely came to a stop. After the crisis, construction slowly recovered, but the production of houses never really made it back to the level it was at before. So yeah, a rapid growth in population and a declining housing production has built up this housing shortage over the years. An inconsistent government policy also didn't help. Professor Peter Boelhouwer gave the following example. When the housing production slowed down around 2008, the government should have done something to get it going again. But they didn't. Instead, they limited mortgage possibilities to slow down the demand for housing. Then around 2012, the government took a step back in the housing market, allowing a bigger role for private investors. And because of these decisions, when the economy started growing again, people that were looking to buy a house found out that there wasn't as much choice as they thought there was. The scarcity rapidly pushed up the prices. Then in 2022, the government completely turned around and started again playing a...
Yeah, sorry about the internet connection, guys. This is a Friday night in the countryside, I'm in a very remote place, and on Friday nights, Saturday nights, the internet connection can get quite weak. Sorry about that.
A bigger role in the housing market. So there was no clear and consistent policy, which caused a lot of uncertainty and extra pressure on the housing market.
Makes sense.
And finally, there's a lot of rules and procedures when it comes to building anything. While China is pooping out entire cities.
Pooping out. That was disgusting.
There's countless bureaucracy, meetings, protests, and questionable choices.
No, I'm not a cat.
Before the Netherlands can even build a single bench. At any moment, individual people, groups, or climate activists can slow down construction. There's a very strong not in my backyard culture. People want to solve the housing crisis, but they also want to keep enjoying the view from their window.
As always, it's the same everywhere, People want to fix problems, but they rather let other people do it.
And more recently, construction almost came to a full stop because of the nitrogen crisis. There's really a lot of crisis going on. So the Netherlands is aiming to slash nitrogen emissions in half by 2030. In the Netherlands, we have a lot of cows, sheep, and chicken, and they poop.
Give me a break. What a bullcrap, What do the Netherlands represent on a worldwide scale, compared to India or China, Russia, who pollute a lot, way more than the Netherlands? What do the Netherlands represent? Nothing, What a leftist bullcrap.
And because there's so many farms and we're already at that nitrogen ceiling, the government stopped giving construction permits to a lot of housing projects. Because, building houses emits nitrogen, and we can't have that because we've already reached the limit because of all of these pooping cows.
What a bullshit.
So yeah, in the middle of the housing crisis, there's also the nitrogen crisis, which is making the housing crisis even worse. And some people are thinking, well, just get rid of some cows. Problem solved. But of course, farmers are not happy about that. This actually led to massive farmer protests. It even fueled a whole new political party that is fighting for farmers' rights. In any case, all of these rules and regulations have not made building new houses any easier. And I've seen it myself. I remember when I was studying a long time ago how shocked I was to see all of these tents. These are tents where students are sleeping because there are not enough rooms available for rent.
Insane. Look at that. Welcome to the Netherlands. Anyway.
That is crazy. How can the Netherlands get out of this mess? Well, the DNB, which is the financial sector supervisor, proposed a couple of solutions. First, build more houses.
Wow, what a solution.
I can't believe no one thought of that. They also want to get rid of any policy that gives financial benefit to people looking to buy their first house. And that may sound strange, because these policies are there to help people. But they also drive up the prices, and people will eventually end up with the same house, but at a higher cost. There's also multiple political parties who want to limit the amount of migrants coming to the Netherlands. And while this won't solve the housing crisis, it can definitely help take off some of the pressure. I mean, this whole situation with students sleeping in tents could theoretically have been prevented if the university stopped accepting students. But hey,
do you really need all these migrants? I don't think so, you know. Why do you need all these migrants, you know, in such a small country?
More students means more money. And finally, a lot of people blame private investors. Especially in bigger or student cities, there are companies or very rich people who own multiple buildings. And they rent out rooms or apartments for ridiculous prices. I mean, just take a look at this amazing penthouse room with a skyline view over Amsterdam. You can buy this room, yes, just this room, for only 125,000 euros. What are you waiting for?
What am I waiting for? Tell these landlords to rot maar lekker op. I think Anglophones will understand.
If you have any thoughts about this or solutions...
Yeah, I have a solution. Go remote, take your euros with you and move abroad with your Dutch work. You can do remotely, or you know, build an online business and work from abroad. That's the easy way. Just leave the Netherlands, okay? Keep your job, your Dutch salary, and move to a cheaper country. A more sunny country, for example, Spain. Spain isn't too bad. Italy, Greece, Romania, or Poland if you like the cold. If you miss the cold weather of the Netherlands. That's my solution. Pretty straightforward. Tell me in the comment below what you guys think. Are you Dutch, by the way? If you are Dutch, tell me in the comment below what you think about this situation, about this this crisis.
Frustrations, please feel free to share them in a comment below. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.
Yeah guys, unless you got a very good job offer, I mean in the multiple six figures per year, don't move to the Netherlands. There's no point, you know. It's expensive, a housing crisis, it's pretty boring, very grey, depressive winters there, bad weather, no mountains. You know, I don't see the point of moving to the Netherlands, okay? If you have the choice, if they make you an offer for, let's say, less than 100k, or even for 100k a year, I wouldn't even move to the Netherlands. I wouldn't even consider it. But let's say if they give you multiple six figures, you can get your dream job there, okay, go there. But otherwise, what's the point? There are way better, you know, countries in Europe now to live. Warmer weather, beautiful landscapes, the sea, warmer sea I mean, because you know the North Sea is pretty cold. Mountains, better food, because Dutch food, let me tell you, is pretty shit. And yeah, so there's no point. That's why I don't go back to the Netherlands, you know. I'm not saying, you know, I don't like the Netherlands. I'm not saying I'm not proud of my Dutch roots, let's say, and of the language I speak, but there's no point of moving back, you know. It's not an upgrade, even compared to France, where I'm now. It's not an upgrade, you know. Unless I get an amazing offer and I can make, you know, multiple six figures every year, then yeah, okay, I would consider it. Otherwise, no point. Anyway, tell me in the comment below what you guys think about this situation in the Netherlands, my home country. And yeah, consider subscribing if you haven't yet. Smash that like button and check the links below in the description under this video. Comment below. Talk to you soon. Have a good one.